Hello, my name is Jerry Beal, and my video doesn't work very well, and so I'm just doing an audio this way. I want to make a quite as short a one as I possibly can here to explain precisely and exactly humanity's thought reversal problem that almost nobody is the least bit aware of. It's incredible, but I want to try to do it in a very short period of time because this is the point. If the listener gets it here, if you get this, if you understand what's going on here, you'll understand why I make various claims that various certain human activities can't matter. That you'll want to say, oh, they really matter. And I'm telling you that, whether or not it's okay or not okay, those human activities are okay or not okay with you, is beside the point that they can't matter. The human activities can't matter, and I'm talking about such things as nonviolent and non-forcing child sexual so-called molestation. Okay, and I'm saying it can't matter. This will show precisely and exactly how it is that they can't matter. Okay, here we go. A long time ago, it was over 30 years ago, when I used to be active in the Mormon church, and I had a leadership position there one time where I heard sinful confessions of the members of our group. And one time a 15-year-old girl came to me to confess that she had done oral sex on a 1.5, nearly 2-year-old boy that she regularly babysat, and she had done this on 3 separate occasions. She had given him toys to play with while she sucked his penis, and on 3 separate occasions. Among the questions I asked her was, how did the little guy react? And she said twice he didn't react at all. Think about it. Twice he didn't react at all while she was sexually molesting him, and once he squirmed a little bit until I stopped doing it. Well, that was 15 years ago, and I wish then that I know what I know now, and I would have been able to help the young lady understand some things that would have helped her a lot in her life to deal with that, because she didn't have any help after I was right in the Mormon belief at that time. That was around 32 years ago. Anyway, I don't know much about her now. She'd be about 47 years old, but I know enough about the young man, or the boy, who is now a young man around 32, and I know enough about him to know that he's as fully functioning a young man as you'll ever see around. He's married with children and has a good education, and he's got a good career, and he's just going on with his life. Excuse me, I lost my breath here. And so the point I want to make with this is that the little boy was sexually molested, and the young man that now is fully functioning, when he was a boy, just a young child, he was sexually molested 3 different times, and he never even had the experience of it. He never even had the experience of it. Why is that? It's because of what Epictetus said in the year 101 AD. Epictetus was a Greek turned Roman Stoic philosopher, really popular in his day. He made the statement, people's minds are not disturbed by events, but by their own judgments on events. Their own judgments on events. Now think about the little boy. What judgment did he have about what was going on between his legs? He had to have seen her suck his penis, but he didn't care. He just went right on playing with his toys. Who knows what was in his mind, if anything was. Probably just waiting for her to, like she would change his diaper or do something to care for him, and that's all that was going on in his mind. How could he possibly be disturbed by what happened sexually? Now keep that phrase in mind. What actually happened sexually? The point is that he wasn't relating to what was actually happening. He was relating to his interpretation about it, his own defining mind contexts about it, and he didn't have any judgments about it. And so it was just something else going on for him. Okay, now I'm going to give you another example that helps you understand exactly and precisely this point where we're reversing cause and effect. When we say that makes me upset, what we're leaving out, when anybody says that makes me upset, what we're always leaving out is the actual cause of our own feelings and experiences when we say that makes me upset. Because what we ought to say is my problematic way of thinking about that is what's making me upset. You see? My problematic way of thinking about that is what's making me upset. But we don't say that. No, we lie about it. And we say that makes me upset. Okay, here's kind of a generic example that helps precisely to understand that more. A farmer who also likes playing golf arrives at a golf course just as it starts raining pretty hard. He turns to his buddy and he says, "This rain is upsetting me, pissing me off and upsetting me." And his buddy turns to him, back to him, and says, "Well, you need to remember that you've got crops in the ground that are benefiting a lot from this good rainstorm." At that, the farmer golfer thinks for a moment, and then he says, "Yeah, you're right about that. I forgot about my crops in the ground soaking up this good rain. Therefore, now," he continues on, "now the rain is making me happy, where it was making me upset before." Okay, so now the rain was supposed to firstly make him happy, the rain was firstly supposed to make him upset. And you can figure that out, can't you? It's not hard to figure out. If you can't play golf in the rain, then you would say the rain is making you upset. But it's not. And it's incredibly important to understand that the rain is not making him upset. And then the same when, he's reminded of his crops in the ground, and he says, "Oh, now wait a minute. Now that I've been reminded of my crops in the ground, now the rain is making me happy instead." And who wouldn't go along with him on that? You would, wouldn't you? Anybody would. The most brilliant person in the world would go along with him on that because of our programming. We grew up with this makes me happy and that makes me upset. We grew up always ignoring our own defining mind context about things. That's what it's appropriately called, but it's our own interpretations and beliefs about things. Our thought reversal problem is this. We're crediting and blaming the people, conditions, and events of our lives for what our own beliefs and interpretations about them are causing. We cause our own feelings with the interpretations we use about this, that, or anything at all. And that's the subject or the symbol. You see, the rain was the subject or the symbol, but it was not the cause. His own defining mind context about the rain was the cause, and he used two of them, which gave him two different feeling experiences. Now, you really need to get that. You see, he said, "The rain makes me upset," and then he was reminded of his crops in the ground, and he says, "Oh, now the rain is making me happy." Okay, what was it? So we think that too. He thought that. He got two completely different feeling experiences from the same one cause. And by the way, the cause was something material, physical. It was something that happened. It was a situation. It was a person, condition, or event. Our own defining mind context, there's always something that comes in between we as the perceiver and what we as the perceiver are perceiving, and that's what it's called appropriately. Our own problematic defining mind context. Now listen to me carefully. Always and only cause problematic experiences. Always and only. Always and only. Always and only cause problematic experiences. And our own non-problematic defining mind contexts always and only cause non-problematic feelings and experiences, and you know, you get non-problematic could include happy. Our own happy defining mind contexts always and only cause our happy experiences. So we only relate to our own defining mind contexts about things, but we believe we're relating to the things themselves. And it's a massive, horrible, horrible problem going on in the world. It doesn't just have to do with sexual situations. Absolutely not. It's the whole entire thing is what Jesus and the Buddha really taught when they came. It's called the Gnostic gospel. But I don't want, you know, I'm not religious, and I don't want to be pushing religion at all. Okay, and so what I want to explain in detail, 100% incorrect. This farmer golfer was 100% incorrect when he said the rain is making me upset, and then he says, oh, now the rain is making me happy. He's 100% incorrect. Now remember, the rain was the subject or the symbol, but it was not the cause. It was the subject. Now how can the subject be the cause? It can't. And that's what causes us to be unable to question the reality of a problem. Now, my main mentor is A Course in Miracles, and here's what it says about traditional clinical psychology. The separated ones have invented many cures for what they believe to be the ills of the world. You see, the ills of the world. We got zillions of ills of the world, we think, don't we? Well, we don't. The only ills of the world we ever have and ever could have are body-related, directly body-related ills. You know, bodies are often victimized and abused, but we cannot be victimized and abused unless we victimize ourselves through our own ignorance, and that's what we're doing. And then we have these roles that we play out as victim and perpetrator. So the actual reversing of cause and effect was this with the farmer golfer, and he did it in both cases, okay? He was putting his sense of self, because we don't operate as a self on planet Earth in 3 dimensions. We operate as at least 2 senses of ourselves, the good guy and the bad guy, because we have good and evil, right and wrong. That terrible polarity has infected our mind and caused us, all of us have the good guy and the bad guy with us. It's just that sometimes the good guy is more active than the bad guy, but all of us have the bad side to us, and most people will admit that too. Okay, let me say it again. I need to give you that quote. What my main mentor says about traditional clinical psychology, about problems. The separated ones have invented many cures for what they believe to be the ills of the world. But the one thing they do not do is to question the reality of a problem. Do you hear that? The one thing they do not do is to question the reality of a problem. Yet its effects cannot be cured because the problem is not real. The separated ones have invented many cures for what they believe to be the ills of the world. But the one thing they do not do is to question the reality of a problem. See, that's what I'm saying, is we can't have problems unless we bring a problematic interpretation to it, and then we still can't have a problem unless it's body-related, unless bodies are harmed. It's impossible for us to have problems on planet Earth in 3 dimensions, is the point I'm trying to make. That's why the Gnostic gospel got left behind when Constantine in 300 AD chose the other one, whereas, oh, everybody is sinned and full of sin and guilt, and oh my God, you know, fall down on the, yuck. Anyway, better not say more about that right now. Here's the actual reversing of cause and effect that I started telling you before. He was putting his sense of self at the effect of his own problematic interpretation about the rain the first time, and so he received a problematic experience. The rain is making me upset. That was his experience. And that's what he did. He put it, the rain wasn't doing it. He was putting his sense of self at the effect. See, it's role-playing. He was role-playing in his mind and thinking of himself out in the rain, putting his sense of self at the effect of his own problematic defining mind context about the rain, and so he received a problematic experience. Then, secondly, when he was reminded of his crops in the ground, he was putting his sense of self at the effect of his own happy defining mind context about the rain, and so he was receiving a happy experience. About represents a level shift in perception that's going on unnoticed, that I was telling you about, the mixing up our mental world with the material world. We add in our own defining mind context about things, add them right into what happened, and then we say, oh, just what happened caused me to be upset. After we've added in our own problematic defining mind context into it, and then we say, oh, what happened caused me to be upset. You see, and as I said, the rain was only the subject or the symbol. It was not the cause. And the reversing of cause and effect is what I just told you. Now think about child sexual so-called molestation. What I'm saying is that I don't think that's a good idea. But after the fact, by God, we better stop lying about all of this. After the fact. Before the fact, it's not a good idea, and I certainly agree with that. But after the fact, by God, we better stop lying about what is causing what when it comes to human feelings and human experiences. And so how did what happened sexually, if you see, these prosecutors all try to do this all up with these sex cases in plea deals. They try to con people into plea deals so that they don't have to face somebody like me in court. Because if I was defending somebody that was charged with being a perpetrator in sex, like nonviolent, non-forcing child sexual molestation, I would the perpetrator has the right to demand that the victim is answers in court, and they have to prove cause. They have to prove cause. They have to prove cause. You see, the little boy didn't think it didn't cause anything to him, did it? Because the cause would have been his own cause, his own problematic defining mind context. But he didn't have one because he was too young to be programmed with the lie that events are causing experiences. Events are not causing experiences. Interpretations about events do. And so if I were in court, I would ask the witness, how did what happened sexually affect your feelings and experiences? Because that's the main question, isn't it? How much were you upset by what happened sexually? And the answer is what happened didn't affect my feelings or experiences at all. Did you hear what I said? What happened didn't affect anybody's feelings or experiences at all. But they're highly problematic, and I mean ungodly, highly problematic interpretations about what happened is what's really causing all of this nightmare in court and all this drama and everything that's messing up people's lives and where families are broken up, and oh my God, all kinds of problems happen because this is happening itself. So what I'm saying is that before the fact, we don't want children being sexual with adults. But after the fact, by God, we better tell the truth, because then the child, when they go into therapy, and they go to therapy with a traditionally educated clinical psychologist, and they can't, the psychologist doesn't know what I'm telling you here, because what I'm telling you here is non-traditional. The psychologist is all screwed up, and they still think the event causes the experience. It doesn't. No, people's own defining mind context about events are what's causing experiences. And The one that ought to be the most aware of this is the supposed victim, the child, because both of them, in fact, because it's all a big old con game anyway. Let's pretend. Let's pretend that events are causing experiences. That's the name of this game, child sexual molestation, the way it is now. Let's pretend that events are causing experiences, and let's not bring any knowledge to our minds that are only our own defining mind contexts about events are able to cause experiences. So human truth is that very thing. Only human interpretations are able to cause human feelings and human experiences. You see, and that allows both the perpetrator and the supposed victim and the supposed perpetrator to just drop the whole thing. To me, it would be something like, I don't know, passing gas in a crowded elevator or something like that. It's something that people don't desire or something, but it doesn't. It only affects you by how you interpret it. Even that does too. What I'm saying is our social mores make it so that we don't want certain kinds of human sexual activities happening, but they still can't matter. Do you understand that? They still can't matter. Our interpretations about them sure as hell do. When we carry these highly problematic ones, and especially around various sexual kinds of human activities. So I think I'm going to leave it at that so that it doesn't get any longer than it is, and see how this turns out. I'll leave it at that, and I've got other YouTube videos that I'd like for you to listen to as well. Thanks a lot for listening to this, and please listen to some of the other ones that I have as well.